Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when they must decide whether to be the captain of their fate or the passenger of their circumstances. Today, I bring you 22 life lessons, not mere tips or suggestions, but principles forged in the fires of experience. These truths will not only change you, they will transform you. Learn them early, and you will live not just a life of success, but of power, purpose, and peace. Desire ignites achievement. It is the unseen flame that fuels all human progress. Before a single invention was created, before any fortune was amassed, before a single mountain was climbed or a dream fulfilled, there was first a desire. Not a fleeting wish or a passing thought, but a deep, a burning desire, an inner force so strong that it refuses to be ignored. This desire, when properly harnessed and intensified, becomes the very foundation upon which every achievement is built. Most people misunderstand the true nature of desire. They confuse it with mere hope or casual interest. Hope is passive, interest is temporary, but desire, real desire, is active. It demands, it pushes, it moves. It refuses to settle for anything less than full realization. It does not wait for favorable conditions. It creates them. It does not ask for permission. It claims the right to exist and manifest. It is the difference between the man who dreams of wealth and the one who will work tirelessly for it, day and night, year after year, until it is attained. The man who truly desires something does not count the cost. He is willing to give all he has in exchange for the thing he seeks. He will sacrifice time, comfort, security, and even reputation, if necessary. He will endure criticism, rejection, and failure. To the outsider, this man may appear obsessed, but what he truly possesses is clarity. He knows what he wants, and he will not be denied. All the great fortunes ever made, all the great enterprises ever built, began with desire. Every revolution, every scientific breakthrough, every masterpiece of literature, music, or art, they all started with a single, unrelenting impulse, I must. That phrase, when backed by unwavering will, becomes an unstoppable force. It penetrates the doubts of others, defies odds, and overrides obstacles. It gives rise to innovation. It births vision. It calls forth resources previously hidden, opportunities unseen, and strength unknown. Desire to be effective must be specific. A vague longing produces vague results. The mind cannot act on uncertainty. It must know exactly what it is aiming for. When desire is sharpened into a clear goal, it takes root in the subconscious and begins to influence every action, every decision, and every word. You begin to attract people, ideas, and circumstances aligned with that desire. Doors begin to open where before there were only walls. Coincidences occur. Timing aligns. But these are not miracles. They are the natural outcome of focused desire fused with belief and action. It is not enough to want something. You must want it with all of your being. It must become part of your identity. You must feel it, see it, taste it in your imagination long before it ever becomes reality. Your desire must be so persistent that even when you are faced with rejection, delays, and setbacks, you continue to press forward. You do not retreat. You adapt, you grow, hurt you refine, and still you move forward. Desire is the beginning of greatness. No man can rise higher than the strength of his desire. Wealth, fame, power, or peace all begin with the inner fire of want, not the weak yearning of the undecided, but the blazing determination of one who has made a choice and made it final. A definite purpose drives success. Without a clear and unwavering aim, no individual can hope to achieve lasting greatness. Purpose gives direction to effort, structure to ambition, and clarity to thought. A man without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder, adrift in a sea of distractions, caught by every current, pushed by every wind, and ultimately going nowhere But the man with a definite purpose moves with power. He acts with intention. Every step he takes is aligned with his ultimate goal. A definite purpose is not a wish or a vague ambition. It is a commitment, is a decision to pursue one thing above all else and to let every other action serve that pursuit. It does not come by accident. It must be chosen consciously. It must be written down, spoken aloud, repeated often, and believed in completely. The moment a person defines their purpose, they give birth to focus, discipline, and energy. Distractions fall away. Doubts diminish. The scattered forces of thought and action unite behind a single cause. Clarity of purpose creates efficiency. Time is no longer wasted on pursuits that do not serve the goal. Energy is not drained by indecision. The individual knows what must be done each day, and more importantly, what must be ignored. It becomes easier to say no to people, to opportunities, to habits, because each choice is measured against the standard of purpose. If it does not move you forward, it has no place in your life. The world yields to those who know what they want. There is a strange magnetism in decisiveness. When a person speaks and acts with certainty, others are drawn to them, doors open, resources appear, helpers arrive. It is not magic. It is the natural response of a world that respects conviction. Most people are unsure of themselves, wandering between possibilities, hoping something will happen. But the one with a definite purpose does not wait. He moves forward, and in doing so, commands attention and respect. A great purpose inspires resilience. When difficulties arise, and they always will, the person with purpose does not fold. They have already made the decision. They do not question whether the goal is worth it, because that question was answered at the beginning. Their mind is not occupied with doubt, but with solutions. They find another way. They keep going, and with each step, the purpose grows stronger, more vivid, more real. Obstacles do not weaken purpose. They strengthen it. Purpose is not only a tool for success, it is a source of power. It gives meaning to effort. It transforms work into mission. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. A man can labor for years, and if he does so without purpose, he will find himself tired, bitter, and empty. But if he works in service of a great purpose, he will endure more, sacrifice more, and still feel joy in the process. His efforts are not wasted. They are invested. To possess a definite purpose is to walk through life with intention. It is to rise each morning with a reason. It is to meet challenges not with dread, but with determination. Purpose provides a target, and when you have a target, you can measure progress. You can make plans. You can adapt, adjust, and improve. Without a target, any movement feels like progress, but nothing is truly achieved. With purpose, every action is a step toward a known destination. Success does not happen by chance. It is the result of deliberate living, of decisions made with a specific outcome in mind. The world does not reward potential. It rewards execution, and execution requires direction. A definite purpose is the compass. It is the map. It is the force that transforms thought into action and action into success. Thoughts become reality. This is not merely a poetic notion, but a law as real and unyielding as gravity. The mind is the original source of all things created by man. Everything that exists in the world of human achievement, every building, invention, work of art, or business empire was first a thought. It existed first in the unseen realm of imagination before it could ever take form in the physical world. The power to shape our world begins in the quiet workshop of the mind. A thought, when sustained and focused upon, begins to take on weight. It gathers emotion, it collects belief, and it generates momentum. It influences attitude and action, consistent and determined, carves reality. The world you experience is a reflection of your most dominant thoughts. What you hold in your mind with repetition, you bring into your life with certainty. This is not a superstition. It is a principle. What you think about most, you move toward. The mind, like fertile soil, will grow whatever seeds you plant, be they seeds of abundance or seeds of failure. Your thoughts are more than passive reflections. They are active forces. They attract to you people opportunities and situations aligned with their nature. A man who thinks in terms of success begins to carry himself differently. He walks with purpose, speaks with clarity, and acts with intention. This creates a ripple effect. Others respond to him based on how he sees himself. He becomes a magnet for resources that match his inner vision. Conversely, a man filled with thoughts of limitation, fear, or inadequacy sends signals of defeat to the world and is met with evidence to reinforce those beliefs. It is not enough to casually entertain positive thoughts. They must become dominant. They must be deeply rooted and emotionally charged. Repetition and belief are the tools of transformation. By deliberately feeding the mind images of the life you desire, you begin to reshape your mental blueprint. The mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. What you consistently visualize, affirm, and believe, your subconscious accepts as truth and seeks to express through your actions and decisions. Guarding your thoughts is a discipline. Every day, you are bombarded with suggestions, opinions, and distractions that can influence your thinking if you are not careful. You must become the gatekeeper of your mind. Do not allow fear, envy, or doubt to take root. Refuse to dwell on failure. Choose thoughts of strength, success, health, and abundance. Your want to hurt you, your mind will believe what you feed it, and in turn, it will guide you to become what you believe. The most successful individuals are not those with the most resources, but those with the most focused minds. They understand that thought is the origin of every outcome. They think in terms of possibilities. They hold firm to a mental picture of their goal, regardless of how distant it may seem. They understand that sustained thought, backed by belief, will begin to shape the shape conditions of their lives to match the vision they carry inside. Even the smallest thought can alter the course of a life. A decision to think differently in a moment of despair to a breakthrough. A new belief can unlock potential that has lain dormant for years. Change the thought, and you change the feeling. Change the feeling, and you change the behavior. Change the behavior, and you change the results. Every chain of cause and effect begins with a single thought. You become what you think about most of the time, whether you accept it or not. This is the root of creation, the engine of progress, and the foundation of personal power. Persistence outperforms talent. While talent may open doors, it is persistence that keeps them open. Many individuals possess natural gifts, abilities, or intelligence, yet they achieve little because they lack the will to endure. Talent, without the fuel of determination, withers in the face of adversity. The world is filled with those who had great potential but no follow-through. What separates those who reach the summit from those who remain at the base is not brilliance, but the refusal to give up. Persistence is the habit of continuing in spite of opposition, delay, or failure. It is not a trait that some are born with and others are not. It is developed, refined, and strengthened through repeated effort. The man who persists is not necessarily the strongest, the smartest, or the most connected. He is simply the one who decides that no defeat is final, no obstacle is permanent, and no rejection is personal. He gets up every time he falls to hurt you, not because he enjoys falling, because the vision in his mind is stronger than the pain in his body. Adversity is the test of purpose. Every worthwhile goal will attract challenges. The path to success is not straight, smooth, or easy. It is filled with setbacks, detours, and moments of doubt. These are not signs to quit. They are opportunities to prove how badly you want what you say you desire. The man who persists understands that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a step toward it. Each time he fails, he extracts a lesson, recalibrates, and then moves forward with greater precision. Persistence is the mother of all breakthroughs. It is the force that compels you to keep writing when the world is silent, to keep building when others have walked away, to keep believing when there is no visible evidence. It is the invisible force behind every great invention, discovery, and achievement. History remembers those who refused to be broken, who stayed the course when it was unpopular, uncomfortable, and uncertain. These individuals were not always the most talented, but they were always the most relentless. Success responds to the man who is willing to keep showing up long after others have grown tired. It yields to the one who knocks again, asks again, tries again. The moment you decide that you will not stop until the goal is achieved, something shifts inside you. You develop mental stamina. Your resolve becomes unshakable. You no longer seek easy wins, you seek real results. And real results come to those who earn them through repeated effort. Persistence transforms character. With each test endured, your confidence grows. You begin to realize that you can survive more than you thought, achieve more than you assumed, and withstand more than you believed. You stop fearing difficulty because you have faced it and moved through it. You start trusting yourself in a deeper way, knowing that whatever comes, you will not fold. This inner strength becomes visible to others. It commands respect, attracts allies, and intimidates opposition. While the world may admire talent, it bows to persistence. The greatest victories are not won in bursts of brilliance, but in long stretches of endurance. The man who keeps moving forward, step by step, regardless of how small the progress may seem, will eventually outdistance those who began with more advantage. It is not how fast you start, but how long you stay in the race that determines where you finish. The persistent man does not rely on motivation. He relies on commitment. He does not wait to feel inspired. He acts from a place of principle, driven by a clear purpose and a firm decision. He understands that consistency beats intensity when applied over time. The reward of persistence is not just the achievement of the goal, but the transformation of the self along the journey. Fear is your only enemy. It disguises itself in many forms: doubt, hesitation, procrastination, anxiety, but its root remains the same. It is the internal voice that whispers, "You can't," even before you try. It is the invisible chain that holds you back from opportunities, risks, and growth. Fear robs you of time, potential, and destiny. It is not the external challenges that break most people. It is their fear of those challenges. It is not defeat that stops them. It is the fear of being defeated. Fear thrives on inaction. It feeds on uncertainty. The longer you wait, the stronger it becomes. The more you entertain fearful thoughts, the deeper they grow roots. Left unchecked, fear becomes a habit, a lens through which you see the world, a filter that colors your decisions and dulls your instincts. It paralyzes the bold, silences the visionary, and neutralizes the gifted. Many brilliant ideas have died in the minds of men because fear convinced them to keep quiet, to wait for the right time, to avoid risk, to seek safety. Fear is not to be reasoned with. It is to be confronted. It loses its grip when you act. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Every time you move forward in the face of fear, you weaken its control. Each step taken in courage builds confidence. Each risk taken, each barrier crossed becomes a new reference point of strength. Fear cannot hurt you. Fear cannot survive in a mind that is focused on purpose and fueled by belief. Most of what people fear never happens. Fear creates illusions, scenes of disaster that exist only in the mind. The fearful mind builds worst-case scenarios and magnifies small risks and predicts failure where there is none. It is a thief of truth. It creates stories based on past wounds, imagined futures, or other people's failures. When you examine fear closely, you often find that it has no foundation. It is a shadow that disappears in the light of action and clarity. The man who is ruled by fear will always be a slave to circumstance. He will say no when he should say yes. He will play small when he should think big. He will hide when he should step forward. But the man who conquers fear commands his life. He takes control of his thoughts, decisions, and destiny. He is not reckless, but resolved. He does not ignore danger, but he refuses to surrender to it. Fear often arrives dressed as prudence. It will tell you to wait, to prepare more, to ask someone else to delay. It wears the mask of caution, but its real intention is paralysis. True wisdom understands risk and chooses to move forward anyway. There is no safety in stagnation. There is no growth without discomfort. Fear will keep you exactly where you are, repeating the same patterns, living beneath your potential, watching others rise while you remain stuck in hesitation. When fear is mastered, freedom begins. You begin to speak with boldness. You make decisions based on vision, not insecurity. You try new things, take bigger steps, and trust your inner voice. You no longer ask permission to pursue your dreams. You stop seeking validation. You become your own authority. Fear no longer dictates the terms of your life. It becomes just another feeling, noticed, but not obeyed. The most dangerous thing about fear is that it pretends to protect you while it quietly imprisons you. It makes you believe that avoidance is safety, when in truth, avoidance is surrender. The only way to win against fear is to walk directly into the thing you are afraid of. Every time you do, you prove to yourself that fear is a liar. And the more you do that, the less power it has over you. You attract what you are. The world does not give you what you wish for. It gives you what you are in harmony with. Your dominant thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and behaviors act as a magnet, drawing into your life people, circumstances, and opportunities that match your inner state. Success is not something you chase. It is something you align with. Wealth, love, opportunity, and progress come to those who have become internally prepared to receive them. A man cannot think in terms of lack, speak in tones of doubt, act in fear, and expect to receive abundance. The law is precise. What you radiate, you receive. What you project consistently becomes your experience. If you carry bitterness, you attract conflict. If you carry envy, you repel opportunity. But if you radiate confidence, gratitude, and clarity, you draw to yourself people and situations that resonate with those frequencies. This is not superstition. It is cause and effect at the mental and emotional level. Who you are being is far more important than what you are doing. Actions are only effective when they are rooted in a powerful internal state. Two people may take the same action, one with a mindset of doubt, the other with certainty, and get completely different results. It is not just the action, but the energy behind the action that determines its impact. The man who knows who he is, what he wants, not because they want to hurt you, and believes he is worthy of it, carries a presence that opens doors before he even knocks. The internal world must come first. Trying to change your outer circumstances without first changing your inner state is like painting over rust. It may look better temporarily, but nothing truly shifts. Real transformation begins within. If you want to attract better relationships, You must become a better version of yourself. If you want more success, you must become the kind of person who can handle and sustain success. Life gives to those who have proven they can hold what they ask for. Your environment is a mirror. If you look around and do not like what you see, it is not the world that must change, it is you. Every complaint is a clue. Every repeated problem is a signal. Life reflects your beliefs back to you so that you may see them clearly. If you believe people cannot be trusted, you will constantly find yourself surrounded by betrayal. If you believe you are not enough, you will find yourself in situations that confirm that feeling. But when you change that inner narrative, the external pattern shifts. You must take responsibility for the energy you bring to every situation. Victimhood repels power. Blame deflects growth. The moment you decide to become the source, to be love, to be strength, to be abundance, you begin to shape your reality with intention. You stop waiting for others to change and begin becoming the change yourself. The outer world is slow to respond, but it always responds. Keep aligning, keep adjusting, keep refining who you are being. Repetition is key. You become what you consistently think, feel, and do. Identity is shaped by habit. Character is carved by repetition. If you want to attract new levels of life, you must create new patterns within. Speak the words of the person you intend to be. Think the thoughts that person would think. Take the actions that version of you would take. Over time, this way of being becomes natural. You no longer act your way into alignment. You live there. There is no need to chase, manipulate, or force. The more you become, the more you draw. The more grounded you are in truth, purpose, and vision, the more life brings you the people, events, and resources that match your level of being. You cannot fake this. A life responds not to surface behavior, but to deep identity. Elevate who you are, and everything around you must rise to meet you.